Episode 6. We are back on the Wave Maker, and we're making waves. Now, you know what I do. This is Teacher Ray here, lights, camera, whatever. After you listen to this episode or any episode, we will be greatly grateful to get your comments. Now, description time. One of my favorite words, scandal. A corruption scandal breaks out, creating shockwaves in the heated race, and Wen-fang finds a new audience through her candid online persona. And also, that's another favorite word of mine, persona. Now, you know what we do. Remember what guys, what is the theme of this show? It's the psychology of life and love through Taiwanese film and drama. And today, we're discussing a drama. Question 1. Guys, don't hate me for these questions. Don't do that. That's not right. I'm just trying to do what I do, right? I'm an extractor. You know how the movie they have what's the movie with Denzel, right? Is the Equalizer, right? So when you see that movie next year on Warner Brothers or whatever, it's called The Extractor, Teacher Ray. Come check me out. Number 1, if TV stations and TV shows are too one-sided and controlled, as people are like, uh-oh, what is he about to do? Would you start your own podcast or YouTube channel? Why I ask this question, guys, is because one day I found out in Taiwan that there are some TV stations that are actually invested in by Chinese, the China, right? And I was kind of like, wait, like something's wrong here, And then I heard like some Taiwanese say that the direction of the news is supporting China, right, in a way. And I was like, well, it's kind of weird to have a TV station that is from kind of like an enemy, right? But then not just from an enemy perspective, right? If there's a TV station that's just only in one direction, and I totally understand if you're investing into a TV station, you want them to talk about the things you want to talk about, then you're not really giving the audience what they're looking for. I watch TV for diversity. That's why I watch TV, diversity. But if everything is shifting toward a certain party, a certain color, in my world, it's in Taiwan, it's a blue and green. In my world, it's a red and blue. If it keeps shifting toward a certain, I would get bored because it's like, oh, this is all they talk about is the red party or the blue party, right? I'm speaking from an American angle. So if a TV station and TV shows are too one-sided, and now why I raised this question is that maybe the purpose of this question is that maybe you joined a station, right? And they were one-sided or controlled too much. And so whatever you said was kind of like shadowed out, right? Because they don't want that on their show. In that case, I applaud you. Go out there and start your own channel or podcast, right? Lights, camera, whatever. This is the podcast. This is where I share my voice. You go out there and do your thing, right? I got a great assistant helping me. You got to find you a team. My assistant is laughing at me while she's drinking my coffee. And, so the thing is like you got to be able to have a good team. So if there's something too one-sided, it's a TV station or TV show, right? And you're trying to express yourself, but they're too one-sided, right? We're not going to get into the details of that because you know exactly what I mean. Would you start your own podcast or YouTube? You should. You absolutely should. And the question is, 2 words. Why not? Right? Why not? The question mark is not a word, so don't count the question mark. Why not? Why not? Now, the second question, if you feel your boss is intentionally trying to overwork you, what would you do? Guys, I'm in Asia. It's a little bit different out here. The boss does have this kind of superiority in a sense. In America, a lot of people can, you guys, come on. If you're Taiwanese and American listening to this or a foreigner, how many American movies or dramas you saw where like the guy gets fired or he gets told he has to be let go? He goes and grabs that chair like Sammy Sosa and he swings that thing around the office or he's breaking the printer. That's not going to happen too much here. People usually walk out the door with an immense amount of degree of anger, right? But they won't really say too much. It will be on their face. You can suppress it as much as you want, but it will be visible to a certain degree. But when you got someone trying to overwork you, like I mentioned, I'm here in Asia, I don't think the employees here will too strongly say, like, what are you doing? Like, it's very obvious. I think it will have to be, and I'm giving you some really good advice, and it would be really hard to prove this. You need to have proof that from your normal degree of work, to extent of work that you're doing, to right now, to where you feel you're overworked. Now, if you feel you're overworked, you got to have proof, guys. Guys, you need proof. We have all these phones and cell phones and microphones. I didn't tell you this. I don't know what you're talking about. But there's all type of substantial, another favorite word of mine, substantial evidence to help you. Bosses might not like you, right? Maybe you are really good. Maybe you are too good. Because in some worlds, in some crazy worlds and universes, and I'm talking about enterprises, when you do good, it's not good, right? Because it's like, wait, why are you so great, right? Some employee might be like, hey, I've been here 20 years. It took me 15, 20 years to get that, and you got it in the first week. Different times, guys. We got all these software tools and AI tools. Everything is wonderful, right? So the thing is that if you're intentionally overworked, you got to talk to your boss. Now, guys, I'm just telling you, if you're in Asia and you might be fired. You might be fired. But if you're American listening to this, I think the boss would be willing. It might be uncomfortable, but I think the bosses overseas might be a little bit more willing to discuss with you. But in Asia, it's a kind of a different concept, like the boss is boss. But Taiwan is a little bit more open, right? That's why I like Taiwan. Like, I think it's a little bit more open to discuss. Maybe the conversation might not be the most enjoyable conversation, but I think a lot of bosses in Taiwan will at least listen and hear you out. But maybe in other countries like Korea or China, maybe it's a different thing. I don't know. These are other countries. Taiwan is its own country. Now, so if you feel your boss is intentionally trying to overwork you, you got to talk to your boss. You got to have a conversation. I can't help. I mean, if you want to call me to get to the office, I got to use English. I don't mind coming to help you out. If you're listening to if you leave a comment under my, the show, I'll come help you out. But you have to talk up. You got to talk it out. You got to talk it out. And that's exactly what you got to do. Sitting around and complaining in the cafe, as I always have my classes in cafes or online, complaining in the cafe about your bosses, and a lot of my students complain about their bosses, but I'm not going to tell you which company. It's not going to help. It helps you release, but it doesn't solve the problem. I don't mind listening and giving you my advice, but it doesn't solve the problem. The problem is the boss. You got to talk to the boss, right? You can't just share with me, right? Now, number 3, is it really a democracy if the president is also protected? Be careful, guys, with this one. It is a democracy, and sometimes people abuse that. And I am not talking about any specific country here. People do abuse the own rules that are used. It's very funny. Okay, this morning I went to the. This is a very. I couldn't wait to use it. This morning I went to the gym. Guys, I go to the gym almost every day, right? 6:00. This morning I went to the gym, and well, let me first start off with Saturday. So usually I go Saturday morning and Sunday morning, right? And when I go to this gym, I will never share because this is my personal, information. When I go to this gym in the morning, and there are lots of people outside, like literally still awake or drunk or sleeping or smoking or hanging out with some girls or whatever, and they're like smoking next to the no smoking sign. And then in Chinese they call it the baotren. In English we call it the security guard. Comes outside and says no smoking. Right? So this is Saturday, Sunday, right? Always happens. So the Friday night, the next day, Saturday morning, I'm waking up early, working out. The Saturday night, next day, you got it. And then today, I go to the gym this morning, and the same security guard is smoking the cigarette next to the sign that says no smoking. And he saw me look at that sign. And that's the crazy part. And he's smiling and waving because I saw him that same Saturday morning yelling at people like, don't smoke out here. And so he's kind of like looking at me like, you caught me. And this is the same principle for, democracies and presidents, right? So presidents are going to do what they need to do in the way they want to do it. And if sometimes that means bending the actual, spectrum of how far democracy stretches, they will do it, right? But guys, you can't really judge people all the time. Right. There's plenty of times where you broke the rule. Now, just because a president, if he did something and like 1,000 people died, yeah, we got to have questions. Right. But if he had like a small little rule that nobody really got hurt, and I have to say, I'm really sorry, because sometimes when you do something right now, unfortunately, we have social media and news, and people have rights to express. Even if you do the smallest thing in the world, somebody's going to complain. And let me talk about that. If you're right, you're wrong. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. That's all I'm going to say. And if you know that, what do, right? Because you know whatever you're going to do regardless, you're going to be wrong. So it doesn't matter, right, if it's a democracy and the president is of a democracy, because not everybody's perfect. Not everybody's perfect. So don't judge too much, but based on the situation, you never know. If someone apologizes but doesn't know, this is question 4. If someone apologizes but doesn't know what their mistake is, will you accept? Absolutely not. Why are you apologizing? Why? If you don't know what you did, save your breath, please. Save your breath. We have nothing to discuss. If you don't know what you did wrong and you apologized, why are you apologizing? And guys, I'm an introvert, but if I'm a social introvert. Now, when I say social, like I will socialize when I want to socialize. And when I don't, I don't. Easy explanation. But if you apologize to me and you don't know what you apologize, I'm going to be an extrovert in a negative way. Because it's like, wait, what's your problem? You don't even know what you did, but you're saying sorry. Don't say sorry just to say sorry. That's terrible. So if someone apologizes but don't know what their mistake is, will you accept? Teacher Ray will absolutely not accept. That is my definite answer, because why apologize in the first place? It doesn't make sense. Number 5, is your work more important than your partner's work? Oh, I mean, because this question is sensitive because some people are making a huge amount of money more than the other person. And some people were looking for that financial, freedom, and that's why they dated someone. But if you're the person that makes more money than your partner, still respect your partner. Because let me tell you right now, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're making your partner feel less of a person, this relationship will not be long, because that pressure will build up. Then they may stay with you for the money, but their heart won't stay with you. And for me, as a Cancer, as a person who loves romance, if someone's heart is not here, then they are not here. If their heart is not in this relationship, they are not in this relationship. And I'm a very sensitive person. I feel a lot of things. That's the only way I can be a business English consultant. Actually, I sense the issue before I'm even told. So if there's no heart, then there's no point of having a relationship. But that's because you caused this situation. You didn't openly discuss and say, hey, I know, I'm making more money than you, but I also value your work. Now, reason why I raise this question is because some people say, hey, you need to do something with the kids because my work is more important. That's the conversation you got to have with your partner. You can't just throw that in someone's face. You can't do that. You got to talk to them and say, hey, this is a very important assignment. This is how I feed the family. And this could be a man or a woman. There's plenty of situations right now where women are making more than a man. And there's some celebrities in Taiwan who wanted to divorce their wife because the wife was making more money. We're not going to say any names. We're not going to, talk about science. That was a hint. I think you probably know who I'm talking about, but that was the news. The husband said the wife was too successful, so he wanted to divorce. There's people out there like that, guys. It depends on the conversation you have at home. Maybe it would be different if he was not belittled or felt belittled. Maybe, right? You never know. Now, number 6, do you really know why your partner loves or doesn't love you? Why I put both is because you need to know why they love you, and you also need to know why they don't love you anymore. Guys, you can't just point fingers and say, hey, you don't love me anymore. Please analyze yourself first before you go out there pointing the fingers. Please, you need to talk. Guys, I'm going to say this 1,000 times. Have a conversation, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Because if you don't have that conversation, it's going to be more uncomfortable. And I'm warning you and I'm praying for you now. You got to stop this not discussing taboo things. Talk to your partner. If you can't openly talk to your partner, I'm just going to be very blunt. They shouldn't be your partner. Now, 7, what if your partner is always on the phone during family time? I don't like hanging out with people and they're on the phone. I don't like. And especially family time, right? Everybody has me time. I don't care what you guys have an excuse. Find your me time. Discuss with your partner, 7 o'clock tonight, 1 hour by myself. No kids. You handle them, right? Discuss your me time. Don't just be like, I want me time. You need to set a schedule for your me time. So this is what I tell my clients. Let me tell you the same thing I tell my clients. Choose one day of the week where one parent watches the kids, the other day where the other parent watches the kids. And these are the me time days. One day for date night, right? You got to have a day for date night. So let me repeat that. You got 3 different nights. And the 4th night is the family night. And you choose whatever. One night, one parent takes care of the kids. You don't do anything. You do whatever you want. Go have your drinks, girl night, boys night. The other night, vice versa, right? Then the other night, you find the time, right, to be together with the kids. This is the family night, right? So you got to have the night where you have your me time, your partner has your me time, and then you have the family time, right? And then you have your date night. If your partner is not asking you to go on dates, I'm scared about your relationship. I'm sorry. Dates are dates. I don't care if you're married. Even if I was married, I would still call my wife my girlfriend, or my woman my girl, because wife has a lot of heaviness in when you say it. I don't like people on the phone. If you're on the phone because you don't have any conversation, then that's something you need to work on. Read something, learn something, study something, create more conversation. If you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, learn something, share something. There's no excuse. There's always something to talk about. 8, would you stay with your partner who makes a lot of money but is never at home? No. I don't care about your money. I want your heart. I only want your heart. I don't want your money. I don't care how rich you are. If you're a cougar out there listening, I don't care how rich you are. I want love. That's all I want. If you're buying me all these things, money runs out. Money is unlimited. If you have a lot of money and you just buy things for me, that doesn't mean you love me, right? Money doesn't show love. So don't forget that, guys. Would you stay with your partner who makes a lot of money but who's never at home? No. Number 9, if one of your parents were elected president, would you agree to be in public or behind the screen? I probably, if I was a businessman, like a prominent businessman, I would be out in public. But if it's like I have a business, I have a company, but I'm more low key. I like to keep my business a high quality. So for me, I like being referred to. I'm not a person who goes out there and tries to promote and says, oh, RBZ English is the best company. I don't do that. And I told a lot of people, like, if you met me out in public and had a drink, I probably wouldn't mention my company, RBZ English, because I like to keep the number of quality. I like to deliver quality service. So for me, if I was like a huge businessman, yes, I would say, yeah, my dad's president. We have resources. But if not, I would be behind scenes. I would definitely be behind the screen. Because I think that exposure is really, you got to be careful when you're a celebrity, especially in like a small country like Taiwan. Like when something bad happens to you, the whole country will know within like 3 minutes because of internet. It's really, really scary here. So I always tell my foreign friends who come here, like, don't do anything stupid because it's just really not worth it. When you're on every single news channel, because when it's a smaller country like Taiwan and Korea, the news spreads quick. Like Singapore, especially Singapore. Singapore is small. It's a great place, but it's really small and it's super hot. The news spreads amazingly quick. So you don't want to do anything stupid in these type of countries because, yeah, you don't want to see your face everywhere in the wrong place, right? So if one of your parents were elected president, I would definitely, based on my life right now, being a business English consultant, and as a consultant, you always want to keep what you do with your clients confidential because I love to protect my clients and the things that they tell me. That's why I'm a consultant. So I would have to say, for this one, number 9, I would have to be behind the screens. Number 10, last question. This is tough. Well, what's the difference, actually? If you're a celebrity, it's okay. So number 10 is, would you be a famous celebrity or KOL? I would have to say KOL, guys, because I like the word leader, right? I like the word key opinion leader. I like to lead. I like to guide people into certain directions. I like to share my opinion, advice, and expertise to help people, right? Celebrity means that, you are really good in, filming and acting and being beautiful, right? And you might not have a brain. Actually, there's plenty of models out there who are literally super, super beautiful men and women, right? Handsome, and they have no brains, right? But they're rich, so they're happy. Congratulations. But I want to leave a mark on this world, right? I don't want to go. Remember, guys, I told you, I'm afraid to be forgotten. Remember the other episode I said, are you afraid to die? Are you more afraid to die or more afraid to be forgotten? I don't want to be forgotten, right? There's so many great people in history from thousands of years ago that we still remember. And I hope 1,000 years later. Now, I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing what I do in my company. I'm just going to keep helping people, training people, doing what I do. But, I'm still looking to make my mark on the world in some way. I hope one day. But for me, that would be more done through key opinion leader, right? Celebrities are kind of just followed. Now, some celebrities are into philanthropy. That's really wonderful, right? They're giving back to the community. I totally applaud you for that. I understand. And thank you for your philanthropic efforts, right? But for key opinion leader, I think there's a little bit more of a flexibility in how you use your fame, right? Because you're kind of famous, but you're not like, like crazy. Like Brad Pitt cannot just walk down the street right now. I know he's a little bit older, he's still handsome, but he's still older. But guys, he's Brad Pitt, right? Like he's a mega movie star, right? But I like him because he's more chill right now. I think he goes out in public and he does whatever because everyone's like, oh, I'm the shoo, I'm the uncle right now. Nobody's gonna be chasing me. Like Tom Holland right now, him and Zendaya. That new movie though, I couldn't really date someone who's like sleeping with guys in the movie. I don't know how Tom Holland does it. Some movie challengers coming out. I'm not gonna go see it. I'm not into that type of movie, but I couldn't do that. But that's what I'm talking about, celebrities, right? So what would you do? Would you be a famous celebrity, KOL? My answer would be KOL. That is episode 6 of Wavemaker, guys. It is on Netflix, English subtitles. Please remember my trademark phrase. We will be greatly grateful if you left your comments. Please do. And I want to thank you guys, first of all, for listening. I really appreciate every single listener. See you guys on the next episode of Lights, Camera, Whatever. Teacher Ray is out.